Hi guys, and welcome to today's podcast. And it's gonna be about PUBG and how it has affected the whole Indian government for them to shut down PUBG or for them to go and shut down PUBG in another couple of days' time. And let's get back. Let's get to the points. So basically, PUBG is a game where you have to shoot your opponents, and you can actually build a team of 4 people, and you can shoot your other opponents, or it can be a solo gameplay where you can shoot another 99 people and win the game. And there are tournaments for cash prizes, tournaments to get yourself upgraded with equipment, and there's much more. It's a whole open game. Like, I'm not saying it's an open world game, but then like there's many stuff towards it because I've played it, and trust me, one reason for me to delete that game was it was really addictive. And why I'm telling it's really addictive is because of these specific reasons. So this addiction comes out with a lot of factors, and like why I personally deleted that game is because one thing I knew is that you obviously need to play that game in order to win yourself more levels and upgrade yourself with more weapons and whatnot. So that was my personal view. But then like when I reviewed on the cases that Indian people have been facing, it's somewhat uncomparable towards what we have been seeing in Sri Lanka. So getting back to the reasons, so these are actual stories of how people have passed away, like numerous amount of children who have been playing this game in India who have passed away, and how their family members have been affected by this game, and like due to their children, obviously. And here we go. So case number one is basically a child who was actually playing PUBG day in day out, like continuously 24 hours on the phone and whatnot with his friends. He would always scream, shoot him, kill him, all that stuff in his native language. And basically, one day his parents have gone out to some wedding, and his sister, who was with him at the time at his home, had all of a sudden heard him shout out, oh no, they're gonna kill him, and something of that sort. And once she looked at his face, he actually showed this blank expression, and the next thing he did was he just dropped the phone, he just threw his headset on the floor, and he basically just flat out knocked himself out, and that was it. He never opened his eyes. And later, when she rushed him off to the hospital, they confirmed that he had basically suffered from an adrenaline overdose, which is basically when you get too much of excitement after playing the game for 3 or 4 like more than 3 or 4 times. Like once you're so addicted to a game, and once you want to eliminate everyone, you get that really strong addiction, and it just gives you the excitement to kill another person. And that's what he suffered, an adrenaline overdose, which actually led him to a heart failure, and that's how he died. Heading on to case 2, where another child, now this case is actually much more intense, because I don't know if we will ever hear something of this sort hereafter, but here it goes. So there's been this boy who has always lied to his parents that he's always going to college and learning, while instead he goes out in the morning and he ends up actually going to his friend's house. Like, I mean, house by sense, it's like an apartment which has been hired by one of their friends, and basically all of their friends get together in that particular apartment, and they start playing PUBG all day long until the time their college finishes and he comes home. And so forth. This has been going on for quite a time, and at last, his dean of the college had like sent a letter to his home, telling him he's not coming, he's not attending college, and you need to look into this problem. And basically his parents have questioned him on as to why he hasn't been going to college all these years and where he has been going, and at last he has told the truth that he has been playing PUBG and so on and so on, and everything got caught by his parents. And as a result, his father got really pissed off that he actually went to take one of his canes that he used to have, and he was gonna hit him. And as he was gonna hit his son, what the son actually did was he has a small sister. So what he did was he grabbed the small sister's neck, and he was like he's gonna kill his father for not letting him play PUBG. And another thing I should include is that before this happened, after the father got to know the whole situation, the father actually smashed the phone on the floor. So he was actually in that rage as when his father smashed his phone on the floor, and he was actually really pissed off as to why his father banned him from playing PUBG. And with all the anger, his father was like, why don't you try and kill your sister? Go ahead, and because the father thought that he can't do such a thing. But then like what he did next will actually scare your whole soul. So actually he took his sister by the neck and slit her throat with a knife, and she died on the spot. And what happened next was he went to his mother and stabbed her multiple times until she died by blood loss, and did the same thing to the father, as he was also powerless at the time. And that's what happened to his parents. And that's one of the most bizarre cases that I've ever come across when it comes to murders. And yeah, case number 3 is basically another child who had to go to his like college. Yeah, this is actually a college story. So this child would obviously play PUBG in the morning, play PUBG in the night. But then while he goes to college, he wouldn't do he would play PUBG in between, and it was just a casual thing for him to do. But then once his mother noticed it was too much of this, she had scolded him, but then scolded means like beyond the level of scolding, like blackguarded him totally, and he couldn't withstand the whole pressure. And basically once his mother left to work that particular day, he hanged himself, and he committed suicide. And as his mother came home, the only thing that she saw was his dead body. And that was case number 4. And the next case is actually another child who was basically, as I said, PUBG has tournaments. So this child basically was playing a PUBG tournament, and he's actually not a child. I'd say he's a teenager, because he actually got qualified to be an engineer, and he was playing a 45-day tournament of PUBG, and he never ate or drank water or never slept properly. And as a result, he ended up getting his nerves all shut down in his neck, because there was one time where he actually fainted down as he was eating his dinner. And then when the parents rushed him to hospital, they took a scan of his neck and told that a lot of his nerves in the neck had died, and they were like getting old and all that stuff. Because basically what happened is that he always plays games by looking down and focusing on the phone, which actually causes his neck to lose a lot of nerves. And that's how he died. And as I said, he was an engineer, so we actually lost a person over there who was actually a real profit to this earth. And so that's case number 5. And case number 6 is basically where a dad of another child who was playing excessive amounts of PUBG got really pissed off because his child wouldn't stop, and his dad smashed it out on the floor. The child got angry. The child took his dad and cut him into 3 parts. 3 parts. And that's how severe that case went. How on earth can a child ever do that to his own father? That's why I'm telling you, this game is that much severe. The brutality of this game is really severe. And these are basically the types of cases that India has come across. And there might be more cases, but then as far as I know, these are the 5 or 6 cases that I know. But then even these 5 or 6 cases are really, really out of hand. They're really totally severe, and these things should actually stop, because as I said earlier in another podcast, we are losing a lot of lives that matter to our earth, because these children, these adults, these teenagers obviously play a part. They play a role towards the whole society. They play a role in building the whole earth up, because what we actually do as teenagers is that we help to build this earth. We help to build our society. We help to build a foundation of what we started, what our parents started, and it's just something that we need to carry on forward. And when we see these type of children passing away by these type of uncertain acts, and when we see children's parents being killed like this, it's just really hurtful, because we never expect a child to kill their own parents just because of a game that's on their phones. And that's basically how much brutal this whole game is. And actually, to be honest, that game is really addictive. Luckily, we haven't got any cases reported in Sri Lanka, and that's actually good, because I know our Sri Lankans, we would never ever want to do any of those stuff, no matter how much we get scolded by parents. So, but then it's always best to keep the limits in whatever you do. Don't go over with whatever you want to do. And basically, my whole many of the people were speculating that it's because of the whole Chinese Indian thing that they were gonna ban PUBG, but then it's not of that sort, because if they did, it would have been mentioned on the game list that were banned, such as TikTok, etc. But then it wasn't at that time. But then right now, I think the death toll of the amount of children and the amount of parents that have lost their lives is the real reason as to why they're gonna be closing down PUBG, which I think is nice, because actually children should take some time to really focus on themselves, really build on themselves, without wasting time on getting addicted to some mobile game and ruining their whole lives. And this is actually something that we people can actually develop, and it's actually a good lesson for us to learn, as not to go beyond the limits in whatever we do. And yeah, so today's podcast is basically about the reasons as to why PUBG got banned, and to bring awareness about this whole mobile game, and not to get too addicted, towards it, and to have a limit and play. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Like, share, and see you in the next video. Thank you.